Hello, my name is Sue Lewis, and I'm going to be doing this presentation, which is an introduction to the Careerpilot website. This session will give you a chance to become familiar with Careerpilot, so I'll be talking about what it offers and showing you how you can make the most of it with different students from different key stages, and also how you can access additional resources. So Careerpilot is a free, one-stop website that's trying to help young people make informed decisions about the range of choices that are available to them between 13 and 19. It's used by about 50 to 60,000 young people a month and get very positive feedback about it being useful, but also that they're learning things from using the site. We've always been southwest wide and co-funded by 12 universities, and the funding is linked to the access agreement they have to put in about how they're going to encourage a broader range of people to higher education. But of course, it isn't just about progression to higher education, it's about all progression from 13 upwards. But from September, we've expanded. We're now south of England wide, got additional universities from Oxfordshire and Southampton areas. So now supported by 20 universities and by 6 NCOP projects. And NCOP's National Collaborative Outreach Project. And there are certain schools that have young people from certain council wards that are part of that project. So you might be familiar with it if you're actually in one of those areas. So in Careerpilot, we want to show young people all the different choices available to them. So we show them qualifications in the qualification planner from level 1 to level 8 in the different pathways, academic, vocational, work-based. And they can click on those and find out more about them. But they can also get an idea of the whole range of things available, especially at higher education level. It's not just about progression to university, there's lots of other choices too. And if they're registered on the site, they can start to indicate which ones they might like to do. So they can say what they've done, what they're doing, and what they're considering. So Careerpilot has several zones. We have the student zone, which is the main area, but we now have a reporting zone where certain information from the student zone bleeds into that and can be viewed by staff within schools and colleges. We have an advisor zone, which is teaching resources, and a parent zone. So the student site has two distinct parts: information, which is freely available, lots of information on all the different progression choices. But then we have career tools where students, if they register, can actually do these activities which help to personalise their choices, which I'll show you in a minute. And this is the bit that leads into the reporting zone. You can use Careerpilot with any year group. It can be great with younger students to just get them aware of different job sectors, providers, all the different things they need to think about in the future. Tie it in with GCSE choices, post-16 choices, post-18 choices. And we have things like HE Skills Map, which are skills activities that I'll show you later. Highlights of the main site are information on 22 job sectors, the link to hundreds of job profiles, information on all the providers in the south of England, colleges, universities, quite a lot of training providers, and all the schools as well. We have the qualification planner, which I showed you. We've got different entry points so students can say what are my choices at a particular age, or look in detail at a particular pathway they're interested in. I'm just going to show you one pathway just so you can see how it works. So this is higher education at 18 plus. So these will be the subsections, all the things you'd expect to see there, what it is, benefits, etc. Deciding what course to do, then finding and comparing courses. So I'm just going to show you that one, but I also thought I'd show you the MOOCs, free online courses offered by universities, because these are great for year 12 students who want to find out about a subject or look brilliant on your personal statement, for example. So if you clicked on decide what course to do, this is the sort of page you'd see, a summary of what the students are going to learn by reading down, but they can click on those and get to the bit they were interested in, related video stories, and also they can bookmark. So if they've registered, they can be saving things as they go. And if you scroll down that page, the last thing was websites to help you choose a course, and this is what you'd see. We do this a lot in Careerpilot, of linking off to really good, free, reliable websites. We're actually being very precise about why a student might go there. This is about deciding what course to do, so what uni you could put in your A-levels and find out what the other young people have gone on to do with that combination of A-levels, for example. I mentioned MOOCs, massive open online courses. Hundreds and hundreds of these are now available, offered by universities for free. They tend to be 3 to 6 weeks long, 2 hours a week maybe, and there's endless subjects. Some which are subject focused, but some which are about preparing young people for university. They're great to do, and I've done a few as well, so they're good not just for young people, but for teachers and parents as well. In the site we have information on 22 job sectors, as I mentioned. This is a very popular part of the site, so this screen would go down quite a long way. Whenever there's a cross, it means students can choose if they're registered, and I'll show you that. So if they're interested in business administration, they could click on the cross and then they could add it to their job sectors. But it also asks them whether they're just exploring it or they're definitely interested. And all this information can be accessed through the reporting zone. But they can click on the job and then they'll find these subsections. The one they particularly like are job profiles, and there will be hundreds of jobs there. They never thought of a lot of them, so it's a great way of exploring or looking specifically for a job they're interested in. And if they click on the job, they get lots of detail about it, including entry requirements. So this can be great as a planning tool, getting them to think ahead and then working back, to make sure they're making the right qualification choices. So if they've registered and they've actually chosen some things like job sectors, that'll appear in my job sectors, see what they've said, and also see what jobs they have looked at too. So it's all quick links back to things they're interested in. So back on the home page, the qualification planner is in that top bar, but we also find a provider. So this is the map view, so they can put in a location and see what's around them. But in the list view, they can start to choose things as well. We also have a few things to help teachers, like the Start Here guides, just very quick guides, one for each key stage. So if you're a tutor and you're delivering Careerpilot, you weren't quite sure where to start, if you've got the students to click on the appropriate age group, then there'll be 5 things to help them get started on Careerpilot, including registering, exploring job sectors, whatever it might be. So as I mentioned, the Career Tools Populist Reporting Zone, students get into that by registering, which is on the home page, and then they'll be able to add their choices. There's a quiz called My Next Steps about their intentions, and then there's HE Skills Map for post-16 and pre-16 version for younger students. I'm just going to show you that quickly. So HE Skills Map, it's about trying to help young people recognise they've often done a lot of good things in their lives and they've often got a lot of skills already. They're often not very good at recognising that in themselves. So sets of questions to help them think about what they've done. I've completed a work experience placement, and then telling them if they've clicked that, what skills they probably used when they did that. So if you've done a work experience placement, you probably have to be independent, use planning, teamwork, time management. So they've got a language to describe their skills and a few examples as well. So what will happen is that any of their examples will be added to the skills bank, but they can also add their own as well. So they could say, I've worked in Waitrose, and which skills they mostly used when they did that. So that'll be added as an example. So you can keep going back and adding more examples. And then when it comes to applying for a course, or writing a personal statement or a job, they can put in what that is and indicate which skills they think they most need to flag up when they're applying for that particular thing. So it might look different if you're a nurse than if you're doing economics, for example. And then they can use their skills bank examples to help them start that journey. But there's also examples that come from real personal statements as well. So they could look at, see how it forms into a personal statement. Format. So all the things in the all the things in the Career Tools lead to a report, which you can see from the reporting zone, and the students can download it, save it, print it, whatever. It's about 11 pages, but you don't need to print it because it's visible online. Now, if you wanted to have a little play with Careerpilot, the best thing to do if you want to go in as a student, try out the Career Tools, is use a dummy login, not your own email, because you might need that for the reporting zone. So the way you do that is by going to Careerpilot careerpilot.org.uk and clicking on registration, which is in the right-hand side of this homepage, and filling in the form. When it comes to your email address, don't put yours in, put your name at nomail.com. So mine will be suelewis@nomail.com. If you want to see the 416 skills map, the HE skills map, choose your year group as being 12-13. Or if you want to see the pre-16 one, choose a pre-16 year group. And don't put yourself in your own school, put yourself in training school. So once you've done that, you can have a little play with the site and think about how you can use it, what might be useful. So just a few other little things to show you. In the top bar of the homepage, you can get access to the advisor zone and the parent zone. The advisor zone has got some resources, lesson plans and resources you can use with students. It's got presentations you can use to introduce it to students for different key stages. Ways of introducing it to parents, like an email template you can send out to parents, staff, students, or newsletter items, and also a little rolling presentation. You can have an information board, anything to try to make your lives easier, really. There's also some free things too, free promotional materials, free training, and you can request access to the reporting zone. We also have a parent zone, and parents really like the main part of the site, so it's great to tell them about that. But the parent zone is specifically aimed at them, and they can click on something like Choices for 18 and find out the answers to some questions they might like to know. What funding support is available for a course at college? And what would university offer and should my child go? And the answers are written in a jargon-free way and link on to other information. So the reporting zone, if you want to access that, I'll explain how to do it in a minute. But when you see it, you'll see this. You'll be able to see all the users. You'll be able to sort out some additional groups. The students would have put themselves into a year group, like year 11, but you can set up tutor groups as well. But the ones I'm going to show you to start with are reports by school and reports by user. So if the students have registered and they've used the career tools, then you should have some information in your reporting zone. And when you look, it'll be by year group or any other groups that you've created. And then you can see what they've completed and what choices they're looking at. So for example, you can see what job sectors they're interested in, or what qualifications they're thinking of doing, or what providers they're expressing interest in. And from here you can see that report that I showed you earlier. And in the report you can also add teacher comments. So for tutors meeting with a student one-to-one, they could write a few little comments, and that could appear here and be visible by other teachers who've got access to that student, and also by the student themselves. You can also look at individual students, pick up a name, and then you can see the different parts of the system according to that individual, or look at their whole report. And this is where you'd add teacher comments by individual. So the reporting zone, if you want to access the reporting zone, it is free to any school or college in the south of England. You have to complete a data sharing agreement. So if you register your interest on the advisor zone, that comes to us and we'll get the data sharing agreement to you. What we also need is who's going to be the keeper of the password for your school, and we will then issue a password to that person. That person can then subdivide groups. So you have year 11 and they could be in tutor groups, pupil premium groups, but they can also then set up teachers and give them access to specific groups. You need to bear in mind you cannot, from the reporting zone, add student users. They add themselves through the student area. So just a reminder of the free stuff, we have free teacher training. It needs to be for a minimum of 5 staff. We can train the whole staff team. We'll do it by webinar if you're a long way away, or face-to-face. It has to be a minimum of 45 minutes in an IT room, so very much a hands-on session. And we have a limited pot of 30 sessions to use. We've got free webinars. You're on one tonight, but there are a few others coming up as well. And free promotional materials that you can have, stickers, cards, posters. And there's one free set for 1 year group per school per year. And then you can apply for free access to reporting zone 2. One other thing we try to do is encourage schools to become super users. And to do that, you only have to do 4 things: request materials, have a link to Careerpilot on your school or college website, have over 100 registered students per year, and inform parents about Careerpilot. You then get a poster, and you get some maps showing how it maps to the Career Statutory Guidance and the Gatsby benchmarks. And then you can get another free set of materials too. So just a few things to remember. Don't forget to set up a dummy student login for yourself or other teachers, and put yourself in training school. For students, make sure they register and get themselves in the right school, right year group, I should say. They need to add their postcode for where they live, and they need to remember their password. Don't forget to apply for the free stuff that's available in the advisor zone, which includes access to reporting zone. So just a question for you, having seen the presentation, what will you do now? You don't have to type in the chat pane. This comes from a webinar, so you're free to go and have a little explore of Careerpilot. So I hope you found this useful, and I hope you engage with Careerpilot and use it with your students. So thanks very much for listening.